Well, as you know, we always say here on this show, all politics is local. And in California, that just amplifies. It's local everywhere, but it just feels more amplified, more so here in the state of California. Recently, I endorsed my next guest. He is running for city council in San Diego County in Chula Vista, California. City council in District 1, Chula Vista. This is the same city council where he's running for office. The current members have voted themselves, have proposed for themselves a 70% pay increase. They've proposed for themselves an extension of term limits. And of course, the voters don't really understand that because it's the way it's worded. And there's so many more things out there that that are sort of unknown to the local voters because they don't get all that publicity. Let's welcome back to the show. By profession, he's a CPA. Let's welcome back GREG Martinez, again, running for City Council, Chula Vista, California, District 1, someone I've endorsed. GREG, good to have you back with us.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Hi to everybody out there viewing this. So yes, I'm running for Chula Vista City Council for District 1. As you mentioned, recently they tried to kind of push through a huge pay raise, 70%, as well as extending their terms, honestly, up to 16 years. And honestly, it just felt so amateurish the way they were doing it. Once we started to dig into the numbers, just scratching the surface of what they were proposing, it was just absurd. And we had a pretty big public outcry. 50 people showed up to a city council meeting to talk. And so they backed down, and then they agreed to submit it to the Charter Review Commission for review because there was zero public scrutiny, none. And also we have these commissions in the city of Chula Vista, one of which is the Charter Review Commission. Our charter is like our constitution. They totally didn't look at it whatsoever. So they decided instead of pushing it through, which I'm kind of surprised because they had the votes, they could have pushed it through, but instead they kind of succumbed to public pressure, decided to let it be reviewed by the Charter Review Commission. But it's not dead yet. I'm pretty sure that it will come back. So if you don't elect me, you can pretty much count that they're going to try to ram that through when it's far away from the next election, so that by the time the elections roll around, people will forget about it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, so that's it's an important topic that's happening right there on Main Street in America. And it's people like you, GREG Martinez, that are calling it to the attention of everyday people, everyday voters. Another thing they've done is they've stripped the mayor there in Chula Vista of his ability to look over events. That sounds kind of odd. Tell us what's going on there.
Okay, well, the mayor characterized it as political, and I agree. There was absolutely no public pressure or no demand from the public to, redo the way events are done here in Chula Vista. So basically, the mayor was in charge of organizing events and more importantly, getting donations, from sponsors so that we wouldn't have to pay for it from the general fund. In the charter, it says that the mayor is the city's official spokesman, and it specifically mentions the state of the city. So what really happened is after the last state of the city, some of the city council members, I think, were jealous or they raised concerns that this was maybe, I don't know, like a campaign event for the mayor. But, in reality, the mayor is just showcasing Chula Vista, and he's doing it in a fun and entertaining way. So right after the last state of the city, they decided to ask the city manager to review the policy for fundraising and managing these events. And so we just had the vote on that a week ago, Tuesday, and they prevailed because they're a voting block, right? The city council is a block of people who almost always vote together, and so it was a no-brainer that they were going to pass it through. There wasn't that much public outcry present at the time. After they changed this, um, change the way that these events are organized. Then there were some Facebook posts that went around just notifying people about what the city council is doing. And, there was a pretty good public outcry online about it, but I'm not sure if they're going to go back and change anything. I kind of doubt it unless we, elect people like myself and then Angelica Martinez, and then maybe we can go back to the way it was. They presented two new arguments. So the first time they talked about it, they presented certain arguments. And then the second time they talked about it, when they took the vote, they presented two new arguments. One was a conflict of interest, supposedly a potential conflict of interest if the mayor was going out there to raise funds, to support these events, that maybe these same companies could have contracts with the city, or maybe they'd be as donors, although they didn't provide any details or any specifics. So it was all very vague. Innuendo. One of the city council members said it was a conflict of interest. And then the second point was that the mayor had given a quote of what this would cost the city. And then the city manager said that it would actually cost the city zero. It wouldn't cost the city a single dime to move the management of these events from the mayor's office to her office. But I tend to be skeptical of that, because unless they're moving headcount and people from the mayor's office to the manager's office, they have to pick up this new work in the manager's office. So I never heard they're going to move any people over. So you're going to get new work in the city manager's office they weren't doing before. That has to come at a cost, right? There's a cost there. Unless it was going to be compensated by reductions in headcount on the mayor's side, which I don't think it was. So I don't think we're getting full transparency. And there was a little bit of a rush on the part of at least one of the members to push this through as soon as possible. They landed on, I think, October 1st to implement the new policy. They were talking about January 1st, but they moved it all the way up to October 1st. I'm a little concerned that it could be used in this upcoming election on November 3rd, but there's really no events that are major events scheduled in October, so maybe not. But I'm still not sure what the rush was until we kind of, resolved all the issues and everybody was satisfied. So that was the latest foray into politics. And another example of the city council acting as a block. We are one of the few cities in SANDAG. SANDAG is the San Diego Association of Governments, and it has mayors from all over San Diego County. And I think there's only two cities, us and one other city, that doesn't let that the mayor is not sitting on the board of SANDAG.
Oh boy!
So they blocked him. They kept him off, and that's just politics, right? That's just politics. Yeah. They're not interested in what is best for the people. They're interested in their own political agenda, and specifically my opponent. She is our member on SANDAG, and she also serves on the Borders Subcommittee of SANDAG. Wow, what a coincidence, since she was born in Mexico, and she made her name by representing mayors of Baja California here with different government groups, including SANDAG. So I think that seems like a conflict of interest. Is she really looking out for people in Chula Vista, or is she looking out for the people who first gave her start in her political career, which are mayors of Baja California?
Yeah, that's a good point, and we discussed that in your previous interview. We'll have to get back in that again sometime, next time we have you, because it's important. Now, something else that you're working on that I want to touch upon real briefly here, Greg, and that is you want to form a business development committee for Chula Vista, a small business development committee. That seems like something that should have been there 50 years ago. And it does not exist. That brings jobs to the community. Tell us about what you're thinking there.
Okay, exactly. I've been, thinking about my platform, and opportunity is one thing I'm going to be stressing a little bit more here in the runoff, and I got to thinking, since Chula Vista has so many commissions, that's one of the big features of it. They have a lot of different commissions and boards. that meet to discuss various things like human relations and all sorts of things. I was on the Measure P Citizens Oversight Committee, which they did oversight on the extra sales tax revenue that was taken in by Measure P to fix infrastructure. So I was thinking, how about a business development commission? Is that something we have? I don't think so because I never heard about it. So I looked at it. No, there's no business development commission. And then I thought, well, I wonder if other cities have those. And yes, other cities do have those. And it makes a lot of sense to me. We do have an economic development department in the city of Chula Vista. And, this commission could involve people from that office as well as, citizens from the different districts. And we can maybe look and see how other cities work their economic development department. But, it's not just small business. I think one thing is to get small business people together. What are their concerns? What could we be doing better at the city to help them thrive, to lower the cost of getting into business, and so they can create more jobs and more wealth for the community. But also, larger companies. Like a few years ago, they tried to get Amazon here. A lot of cities were bidding for Amazon, and that was a pretty stiff competition. But
Yeah.
I don't know how well they were prepared for that. If maybe there had been a commission in place, that might have helped. Maybe not so much. But there's other opportunities. I talked briefly about a data center, AI data center. I'm not sure that's the answer yet. It's very controversial, but companies are throwing a lot of money at cities to put an AI data center near in their city. And we have water, which is one of the biggest resources that's needed is water to cool these facilities down. So that's just one idea, which may or may not go anywhere. But also in that idea, you could even be looking at maybe something that could help Mexico in terms of the Tijuana River, because they could use maybe that water. If they build a filtration plant near there that cleans the water, maybe they could have a data center near there that uses that water. And, maybe you can kill two birds with one stone. In Mexico, they have less regulation. So, yeah, maybe that's an idea that could help us somewhere in the region. But those are the kind of ideas we need to be looking at, and not just, attacking the mayor because he's organizing events and they're jealous. We need to be moving the ball forward to create opportunities for our citizens and doing, things to benefit them, and not, political gamesmanship, right? That's what we have
Right.
now.
And it looks like you have that plan in place there, Greg. A working plan in progress, but you have the mindset, the values to have that plan in place for the citizens. Where can our viewers find your website online?
My website is at www.gregforchulavista.com. That's Greg, FOR, chulavista.com.
All right, Greg Martinez. After Labor Day, the campaign, voters, the individuals get more in tune to the election season after the summer's over. Historically, that's what happens. We look forward to having you back after Labor Day as the voter interest rises.
Okay, Rick, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks again. Have a great day.
You too. Back with more after this.